We usually have everyone announce themselves, or introduce themselves. So if we could start at my left, if you'd each introduce yourself briefly.
Jack Confer.
Richard Watson. Jim Frazee.
I'm Chairman David Lyon.
David Noggle.
Kevin Collins.
Whitney Baker.
All right, and we also have with us Brittany Nelson, Lee Jimenez, and Steve Abramson. We have just a couple of things on our agenda tonight. The first is a kind of business, small piece of business. We are to vote on and approve the meeting minutes as we read them from our August 8th, 2018 meeting. There was one correction which we found, which was that Board Member Collins was not in attendance there. Thank you for pointing that out. Can I hear a motion regarding the approval of those minutes, please?
Make a motion to approve.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, motion to approve minutes from Vice Chair Frazee and seconded by Board Member Watson. All those in favor by show of hands, please. And the motion passes 7-0. Do we have a preamble?
Yes, but that is not why I wanted to get your attention.
Okay, what is it?
Ms. Baker was not at the last meeting, so she could not vote.
No, I thought we were doing the study session.
Okay, did you roll them into one?
We did not.
My apologies. And yes, we have a preamble. If you don't have it, we'll have it for you next time.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, so now the other set of meeting minutes we have to approve is, darn it, I don't have it in front. Let's see, the meeting minutes from January 23rd, 2019. Can I hear a motion regarding their approval?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, motion to approve from Board Member Watson and seconded by Board Member Noggle. All those in favor by show of hands, please. In abstention? All right, motion passes 6-0 with Board Member Baker in abstention. All right, so now we move on with our one case for the evening, the Ingram Residence.
Good evening, Chair Lyon, members of the board. My name is Lee Jimenez. I'm a senior planner with the Community Development Department in the Planning Division. The Ingram Residence is located on the southwest corner of East Secretariat Drive and South La Rosa Drive on Lot 35 of the Raintree Unit 2 subdivision, which is located in the R110 Single Family Residential District. The applicants Matt and Margo Ingram are requesting a setback reduction for a new addition consisting of 2 bedrooms and a bathroom along the east end of the home. The required street side building setback in the R110 zoning district is 15 feet. However, a key lot is adjacent to the south, which increases the setback by an additional 10 feet, which results in a total required street side setback of 25 feet. A neighborhood meeting was held twice. The first took place on December 12th, 2018 at 6 p.m. and the second occurred on January 7th, 2017 at 5 p.m. Both meetings were held at the Ingram Residence. The reason for the second meeting was because the first meeting did not conform with the neighborhood meeting notification requirements and therefore required a meeting that met those requirements. During the neighborhood meeting process, one written comment was received by the applicant after the first neighborhood meeting. The comment did not oppose the request, but suggested that no perimeter wall be added to the east of the addition and that the installation of landscape he suggested that the installation of landscape would soften the encroaching addition. Based on the information provided by the applicant, the public input received, and the analysis provided in the staff report, staff supports approval of the requested variance and believes the request meets the required criteria and will conform to the recommended conditions in the staff report. So just briefly, here is look at on your screen is the location map on your left, and then the area on your right. Here's the site plan showing the addition with a 9-foot setback from the street side property line. There's a floor plan showing the 2 bedrooms and then the Jack and Jill bathroom. This is the east elevation showing a flat roof, parapet roof line. Here's the elevation from the south and the north. The cross section, bisecting it lengthwise. The roof plan just to show the parapet roof line. And that's all I have. And I'll be available should you have any questions.
All right, questions for Mr. Jimenez? We will thank you.
All right, thank you.
So now, Mr. Abramson, if I may, I'd like to ask a question. Since we are new to hearing variances here at this board, do we hear from the applicant?
Yes, Chairman Lyon, it's the same protocol as any other case.
All right,
Thank you.
fair enough then. If our applicant is with us, we'll invite you to come down and speak with us for a moment. So if you could just introduce yourselves briefly for the record, and then if you want to tell us however much you feel like telling us about your project and why you feel the variance makes sense. We've read the kind of brief, so you don't have to, overdo those kind of things, but whatever you feel is relevant.
Excuse me. We moved into the neighborhood a little over 4 years ago, and I'm Margo Ingram. I'm sorry.
And I'm the better half, Matt.
He likes to think that. So anyway, we moved into Raintree a little over 4 years ago, and our lot is a pretty visible lot in the subdivision. We have the whole neighborhood has a lot of green and mature trees and all of that, and that's one thing that drew us to the neighborhood. One thing that's pretty obvious when you come in is the extensive amount of space we have around our property, and then upon meeting with Mr. Jimenez, we learned about the key lot and how the setbacks work. Our house is currently a 3-bedroom and a den, where the majority of the homes in the neighborhood are 4 bedrooms. And our house is on the small end of, again, the neighborhood. For us personally, it would be a benefit for us to have the additional bedrooms for our family. However, we are aware of the importance. It obviously needs to meet all of the criteria. And upon doing research throughout the neighborhood, we saw that homes that are in, so there were 2 examples we gave, but there were actually a couple of additional ones. Homes that are on corner lots such as ours that also are adjacent to a key lot have evidently, just based on seeing their property, the building, have come into that 25-foot setback. We're not aware exactly of when their variances took place, but it does appear that lots similar to ours have utilized space that is on the side of their home where the key lot is adjacent. In addition, we've been wanting to get rid of some of the grass for sustainability purposes. So this seemed like a really good way to do that, providing us more space in the home, not infringing on anybody around us. We're able to keep the landscaping very consistent with what we have, but something like this can allow us to take a significant portion of the grass on the east side of our home. It won't be completely gone, so it will maintain what it looks like now, but it will really help us with our utility bills and with just the water usage of our home. And in our neighborhood, there's pretty substantial water usage because of how the neighborhood was created. So most of the homes that are like ours are model in the neighborhood. It's semi-custom, but the few homes that are, they have significant space on the other end of their home. So people have added garage space and have gone back there. And our home, we can't do that. We are very close to our neighbors on the west side. So our extensive space is on the east side where we have this big setback. So with all of that being said, and after neighborhood meetings and speaking to some people, we felt like we could easily meet the requirements and the specifications that you need for a variance. We got very positive feedback, and really the biggest question and concern was, are you going to keep the landscaping consistent? Is it going to look like a big addition? We've met with landscapers, and we have a plan in place that we feel like will do that. The architect who sent in the letter, he's an architect from a neighboring neighborhood who came and He just said, in our neighborhood, a number of the corner homes on their side lot, they have moved their side wall all the way to the property line. So there's very little space between the property line and the street. And ours, we have significant space. So where the building is not built, where the new addition would be, we will maintain our wall where it is. So we continue to have the nice landscaping on the outside, because that's what we felt people really like about the feel of our lot and our property. So I think that's it. We did meet with a city planner with those plans just to get an idea of if we're okay with drainage, because our neighborhood people have run into issues with drainage when they've tried to add pools or make it, do additions to the back. And he said we have plenty of drainage. Our property location is fine. And it didn't seem that any of the utilities, we've had all of that checked out and everything seemed that it would be fine to move forward. So we hope just to bring more value to the neighborhood with a nice addition, help for our family. And again, I mean, we absolutely love the neighborhood and we value the opinions of our neighbors. And we had plenty of people show up to let us know how they, what they thought. People stopping by, everybody seems to feel like it would be a good idea. So.
Perfect.
All right. Questions for the Ingrams? All right, we don't appear to have any questions for you. I'm not surprised at that. All
I
right.
must have been so thorough.
Yes, as he said, perfect. All right, well, we'll thank you for your comments then.
Thank you for considering it.
We have no one with us from the public other than Matthew and Margo, so therefore we'll not have a public comment session. We'll go straight to our board member conversation. Board members, what do you think? If we're ready for a motion, we can hear one, but I'd prefer to hear a little comment first. Board member Watson.
I have a question for staff. So they mentioned that they couldn't find any other variances. Is that I'll call it the variance black hole, where there wasn't good records on the variances X number of years back?
This subdivision, based on historical aerial photographs, it appears that this subdivision was constructed with these reduced setbacks. I could not find any records of variances for some of the example comparable lots, so I had to assume that for some reason the subdivision was constructed with reduced setbacks. And one example is R110 requires a 30-foot front building setback, and the Ingram Residence encroaches into that. So, and there's a lot of other garages that encroach into that setback. So that's what leads me to believe that that subdivision was just constructed that way, but for some reason.
What was the year of the subdivision
It was in
creation?
the early 80s.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Questions, comments? Board member Collins.
Really just a comment. I mean, the documentation provided is a it's a grade level documentation, so it helps me, at least from my point, make the decision a little bit easier. Probably the best drawings that I've seen come to this board for us to review. That helps a lot, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. Board member Baker?
I think it's also important to remember when we go to vote that the neighborhood is not opposed to this. Everybody's on board, and that's really important to keep the neighborhood in gelled, and is that a word? I'm going to make that up, gelled together.
Works. All right, I'll jump in and I'll agree the documents are excellent. Thank you for sharing your plans with us. We don't usually get that level of documentation at these meetings. And also, I think that this is a great example of exactly what the variance process is about. For my take, this neighborhood there are plenty of homes in this neighborhood that violate those sort of traditional setbacks, as we've heard, and I think there are other people that are enjoying that privilege, and this process is designed specifically to grant relief. So those are my thoughts. We can hear more comments, or we can take a motion. We can also sit here for a while.
I'm ready to provide a motion.
Do you have a motion or a comment?
Motion.
All right, well, let's hear from Board Member Noggle then.
Oh, no, I was gonna make a motion, so I'd prefer it came from the left side there.
All right. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance with the conditions of approval that are cited in the staff report.
All right. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All right. Motion to approve from Board Member Confer and seconded by Board Member Baker. All those in favor by show of hands, please. And the motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Now, I do have one thing. I think we have to amend our first motion regarding the meeting minutes for, what you voted for, you voted to approve. All right, so let's take that first motion again. Can I hear a motion regarding the approval of the retreat minutes for August 8th?
I motion we approve the minutes from the retreat.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All right, motion to approve those minutes from Board Member Watson and seconded by Board Member Baker. All those in favor by show of hands, please. And those in abstention. All right, that motion passes 6-0 with Board Member Collins in abstention. Do we have any staff announcements?
No, Chairman Lyon, no staff announcements. Thank you.
All right, well, I believe we are adjourned then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.